But it ended up being that it all came back to pi. But here's the thing about pi is I was like, well, if this is the evident structure of the curve, and you know, the Egyptians used it, the Greeks used it, the Sumerian civilization somehow used it, or the Mayan cultures, you know, everybody was aware of this circle, this, you know, construct of coming back to an origin, right? And that makes sense to me. So I'm like, wow, this is beautiful. So it was like a beautiful harmony, a beautiful balance that I saw. I was like, this is important, you know? And then I was like, well, how can I actually get to infinity? And I was like, how can I? So I immediately thought of pi. I was like, pi can help me. And that's how I thought. I was like, okay, I want to make a simulation where I start at 0 and scale up a shape, a fractal shape that starts showing me what space-time looks like until this point where we can see our 3D reality. And I got pretty close to that. Like, I see swirling galaxies, I see planets, I see other things. And it's not like I see the planets themselves, I see the energy between the planets. So my space-time elevator is actually mapping colors between all of the different bodies that could be. And again, all it's doing is mapping the energy flow. Now, the way that I end up trying to, so obviously my mind couldn't do this, so I had to have the AI models help me, and I generated code that was helping me to visualize this. I'm a very visual person. I have to have my eyes open to even use anything with my mind's eye. And so I'm constantly saying, okay, maybe it's rotating, maybe it's spinning, maybe it's oscillating, maybe it's curved here, maybe, you know, there's all these different things that affected the way that I felt and thought, but it ended up being that it all came back to pi. I actually took a spreadsheet one day and I ended up just like saying, okay, well, what if I add pi or multiply and do some other things? So I came up with a formula that I call the inverse pi that basically maps this out. And so now I can propagate a shape out to any extension, like all the way to infinity basically, on a GPU or on the computer. I could visualize it on the screen. And that was just a tool so that I could see what I was imagining. Do you know what I mean? Like, it was already there before I even put it in the tool. But then now I'm like, wow, what if I change this? And what if I turn this dial and do this? And that sounds similar to some of the things you're doing with the work you're doing with the world
theater.
Yeah, the world theater, and being able to, like, the things you talk about are interesting.